Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to the Guilt After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we're going to be covering Episode 9, The Crown vs. Atwood, and we're going to be talking with the masterful Billy Zane. Please stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Guys, we got to watch we got to watch the episode. Part 1 of the finale is in the books. AfterBuzzers, welcome to the Guilt After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we have easily our biggest show of the season. We have the masterful Billy Zane. We have the usual panel. Guys, I'm Gabriel Gonzalez. Welcome to the show. You can find me all the time on Twitter at Double G on TV. Billy, first of all, thank you so much for joining us
Gabriel, thank
tonight.
you so much for taking the time, considering you are on Twitter all the time.
Oh, well, of course I have to. Can I ask where can fans find you on social media?
I'm
At
sorry,
Billy
you can
Zane?
find me at Billy Zane on Twitter and Instagram, and the real Billy Zane on Snapchat.
Oh, all right. And of course I have the ladies to the left.
Hi, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV.
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
Right, so guys, part 1 of the 2-part season finale. You know, guys, we're only one episode left from finding out who Molly Ryan is.
I
finally.
figured it out. I know.
Who
You got
killed
it.
Molly Ryan?
Who
that
killed
is.
Molly Ryan?
We know who she is, and we lament her loss.
We're gonna find out who Molly Ryan is.
Oh my goodness.
It'll be episode 1,
You've been
Gabe.
waiting this whole season.
I'll be honest, guys. It's quite an experience sitting next to the man. I mean, first off, how's the experience seeing the fans just react to the show, all their theories? I'm sure you have a bunch of people saying this person did it, this person didn't. What's it like for you?
I'm surprised by no one's actually really proposing who did. They're just kind of commenting in real time where it's at. I think they're kind of hanging right along with it. But there are some theories spinning, certainly. Who do you think did it?
Oh, I know who did it.
No, who did it?
Oh, I
You
know.
who did it?
I'm confident in my answer today. Last episode, I was like, yeah, I think this is it. But this episode, I'm like, it is. Philip did it. I'm telling you, Philip killed her.
Who's Philip?
You know, I think
Oh,
that's-
you stop, you. It is the prince's bodyguard. And I'm going to tell you my theory right now. He did it. We're going to think Prince Theo did it because everything's leading up to him. Why would this dead body be on his property? That's insane. Because Philip did it and he can't say anything. I think Prince Theo saw who did it. So the only one that would make sense in my mind is Philip. He's also like real shady. Can we
Isn't he?
just
There's a
yeah.
lot of shady in this.
That's
That's
true.
the point.
Touche.
Suspects abound.
You know, there was this really, irrelevant character who said there's a lot of guilt to go around. Do you guys remember that?
I don't. What character was it?
I
Who
don't
was
know.
that?
Billy, do you remember which actor that was who said
No
that?
idea, but I
Like
love
the
his
pilot?
work.
Same.
Great actor.
Same.
You know what? All right, so we're here. Let's get right into the case. We got a big show. So it opens up. Veena Patel. We're waiting for one more big surprise, I feel, out of Veena Patel. But
I feel like that too.
yeah, the media is there. They're turning into the next O.J. Simpson, The Crown versus Atwood. Obviously, you represent Miss Atwood on the show. But so, first of all, how is the wig wearing experience for...
It's itchy, Gabe. No, it adds a curious bit of authority. I like the fact that the British judicial system holds on to that particular tradition. It's pretty curious. Curious, unique authority. I did, however, have dibs on all of the wigs with which I went in the trailer early and it was like I tried on like 17 of these things. That was the only one that I thought, suited my mug.
I think it worked out
No, I
well.
think it
for-
was-
Wasn't bad. I was getting a lot of love on the wig.
Yeah, okay.
I saw that on Twitter tonight. A lot of
Right?
love.
Kinda
Yeah, people
crazy.
were into the
Yeah.
wig for sure.
I saw this thrown out by, I believe, Kathryn Price and Nichole Millard, the creators. Who do you guys think wore the wig better, Mr. Billy Zane or Naomi Ryan?
Too.
Naomi can't look bad in anything. She rocked it, I have to say. Yeah.
True.
I feel like neither of you can look bad in anything.
Aw, that's
so.
sweet of you.
No, well, obviously, we have the big case going. We have the two sides presenting themselves. Gwen, just like we expected, she's going to push, hey, it's Grace Atwood, no questions asked. It doesn't matter about Molly's background, what she did in her personal life. It's about, at the end of the day, girl was murdered. The murderer was Grace Atwood. Mr. Stan Guttery over here, he has a different way of pushing it. He wants to, one, bring up the fact Molly's background is important because that's part of what led to her being killed. She was not killed by her best friend. And we see that he had a bit of trouble setting up to get, a new suspect really out there in front of the courtroom. What did you guys think how it went down?
I'm kind of ashamed to admit it, but I feel like I'm Gwen at this point. Like, as far as my theories go, because I'm trying to stick to one theory, and I can't let that theory go. And I still
You think Grace did it?
I think Kaylee did it.
Ooh, Kaylee. Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah. Renee, what did you think of how the court went down? Everyone's strategy, I guess. Gwen's strategy, and then, of course, Stan's.
Okay, well, I love Stan's strategy because you can say, disregard whatever he said. They're not going to disregard what he said. That is some great information, and that's how you win the case. That's how Stan never lost the trial.
Right? You can't unring that bell.
Yeah.
Right? He's like, oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, okay,
Prince
taking
whom?
it back. What? Exactly.
No, definitely. And another twist we found out, so we see that Bruno has come into some trouble. I expected them, honestly, they were going to probably show that on screen, that, hey, maybe his conversation with Gwen, that, oh, you're fired, or this that happened with Donovan Tremblay. But we asked about it. Would Theo actually go through with it? He did. Were you guys expecting it to happen just almost, I know for the story they probably had to move it along just with everything going on, but what did you guys think now, Bruno being in that situation?
Sucks for Bruno. He looked great in his laid-back outfit. I was
Yeah.
into it. I wasn't expecting it to be as chill as it was, just like kind of the introduction of, oh, okay, well, it's all out there. And I just feel bad for him. I was expecting it to be a little bigger. However, that's not really the storyline. Like, they didn't really need to make it a big
Yeah.
deal because there's so many other things we have to focus on.
There's just I agree that there's so much going on, and at this point, with it being episode 9 and all, we just want to know who did it.
Yeah.
At this point,
Okay. Well,
and we're getting there.
Yeah, well, definitely some certain plot points that moved it along. A few shockers. So obviously to help out Stan in the case, Natalie does her work to prep Neville.
Be friends, Neville.
Yes, that was really well done. I think, we see so much of that human side. Obviously, Stan has to play the part he has to play, and he do a great job.
Thank you.
But Natalie plays that other side of the coin. And, I think you need the two together if they were going to put a good case against Gwen, that authoritative crown prosecutor.
Yeah.
Natalie's plan, unfortunately, goes out the window.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So we all
Sad.
do, just like Bruno brought up and everyone else, there's no way Neville killed himself.
I think there's a way, but I don't think he did.
I don't think he did either.
Here's my question I want to ask you guys. Okay, just the same way, if it is Theo, how did he get into that apartment in the middle of the night, no one seeing him? Same thing. How is someone getting into that hospital those things are locked up. People aren't only supposed to not get out, people aren't supposed to be able to get in.
Yeah,
it's
but-
not Fort Knox, but...
People find a way. And again, with the party and Prince Theo, everyone was very intoxicated, on drugs. I mean, a lot of people had already left at that point. I don't think it'd be that difficult to sneak in. Plus, I mean, a little unrelated, but JoJo and Jordan from The Bachelorette weren't allowed to see each other, and Jordan just put on a hat and some sunglasses, and he snuck into her hotel. No one knew. It's possible the prince could sneak into a party as well.
I mean, when you... Okay.
JoJo did it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If JoJo and Jordan can do it, Prince Theo can totally do it.
And remember, there's that access from the rooftop that Bruno found in episode 1.
Oh,
Not everyone came through the front door.
interesting. Well, you know what, Becca? Did you have anything?
I did. No.
Okay, so one of the things I'd heard that there was going to be a death that twists everything. I really thought it might be someone else. I thought maybe Charlotte would be up there because Kaylee, but
I don't want
Bye,
Kaylee
Kaylee.
to die.
It's over. She's dying.
I
And
think
Philip.
you know what? I think we're gonna come down the stretch, but I really want to get into some Stan Guttery moments. So we get to see a lot of what makes Stan so successful as a prosecutor. But par for the course, since the first time we saw him, we see Stan's confidence. And I want to ask, Mr. Billy Zane, we have had so many of your co-stars here. And they all say the only person with more swagger and confidence than Stan Guttery is Billy Zane.
True.
That's nice of him.
One, how do you get in character, or is it something you just wake up and you're that cool?
Oh, you're sweet, dude. What's your excuse?
You know what? I just wake up, I look in the mirror, and I say, damn, he looks good.
I'll borrow from your playbook. And I might have to borrow that shirt. That's Mac.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Clothes swapping.
No, but definitely. So we see a lot of Stan's confidence, out. We see a lot of storylines, James was trying to talk to him, Stan, though, I'm still trying to figure him out a little bit. How much, I don't feel like he's necessarily just in it for his ego to win the case. I do feel like there is a part of him, honestly, that wants to set Grace free because he doesn't believe she did it.
You're right.
And now obviously they did the hypnotherapy to prove, she says she didn't do it. I believe it. There's some people speculating maybe it's not true. I'm not on that boat, but, I believe Stan. What do you think is Stan's motivation personally when you think about it?
Well, his professional obligation to his client, first and foremost, but I believe under it, I think he believes that she's innocent.
Okay. Guys, do you agree with that? Does that come through?
Yeah,
I do agree.
Yeah, no, I completely 100% agree with that.
And not just because he plays Stan and would know.
No, it's, whether he's right or not is yet to be seen. But
It's true. No, I
believe
definitely
he believes it.
agree with that for sure.
I've said, before, Stan's the kind of person I'd want defending me even if I just got like a parking ticket.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Agreed again.
Yeah, and he needed to have a good game plan because his, obviously first up was Luke. Luke tried to do his best, as we've come to know him. Renee, Luke's obviously, Renee's favorite character on the show. Luke.
I do love Luke, even though he's a little slow and should not have come up there. But, he tries,
Sedated.
and that's what matters.
He's sedated.
I think it goes to show how great an actor Zachary Fall is.
Yeah, he's
He's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, we love Zach.
He was
for
so charming with us last week.
Yeah, he was awesome. Luke, on the other hand.
Yes, so
We know.
we all know how much he's willing to fight to keep those who show him affection, and he,
So sad.
yes, he went out there. He put his neck out on the line to say Grace didn't do it. Grace did not kill Molly Ryan.
He just wants to be heard.
Went a little far.
Yes,
Luke, I'm your lawyer.
but Gwen twists it and has that tape saying, "Hey, you guys are hiding a secret." And that was all she needed to rip anything he was doing to shreds.
Gwen is just always one step or 500 steps ahead of Luke, I feel like.
Yes.
I think we should have seen that coming, the fact that they would have recorded that.
No, I definitely saw
Yeah.
that coming. I believe, during that episode, I was like, that's probably being recorded right now.
Yeah, and why would you sit, that's not something, that sounds so bad. If anything, be specific. Don't be vague, it just sounds like you killed her.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Luke, Grace, man. Match made in heaven.
Yeah, Grace isn't too much brighter.
Well, I don't know. I think she's willing to take some risks to get to her goals, get to the ends. Stabbing Neville. You think, those big, soppy puppy dog eyes, so she's not going to be able to do that?
He was trapping her. I would stab Neville too if I was being trapped
That was creepy.
by a stalker.
That
That's
was a little creepy.
defense. That is 100% defense. I thought nothing when she did that.
No, well,
I'm with Renee on that
yeah, she
one.
just felt a little... I feel like we would have seen her hesitate a little bit to just really... Because she dug that
You
scissor into her...
have to. You can't hesitate.
Is that how you do it? You put it in your twist?
The way you
and
do it is you just...
Why do you look
What
at
were
me
you
when
doing the night
say
of the party? That's my
nothing.
question.
I was nothing.
It was a
why does
life
she-
or death situation at that point.
No, I want to know, why does Renee stare me down when she said you have to stab him? It's like, what did I do?
Well,
That's a warning.
I thought we were
don't
cool.
mess,
watch out.
Don't mess with Renee.
No,
Ever.
okay, another one though, when Grace stabs herself to get out of general population in prison.
smart. I say that's smart. I
very
say
smart.
to survive
Very
prison.
Grace-like.
You gotta be a little twisted to be willing to just... it wasn't the sharpest shank in the world, but still.
No, I just think that was
She is.
smart. That was a life threat. That's intense bullying. Who's gonna say you can't? That's not like in a school setting where you could go to a teacher or whatever. You're in prison.
Yeah.
You're all together and stuck together, and these people are threatening to hurt you. They held her underwater. If it comes down to it, stab yourself.
Don't try this at home.
Yes, thank you.
All I'm gonna say is I feel like she'd be good surviving on a desert island. That's like
She could definitely get away.
Grace Atwood, naked and afraid, or not afraid, clothed and totally cool with it.
Here's a good question for you, on that note. And we've talked about this a lot since ABC Family made the brand change to Freeform, that Guilt is easily the most mature and sexy show on the network. How's it for you? Obviously you got a lot of young people, a lot of great young actors. you know, you've had quite the career yourself. How's it like, you know, having that presence with the cast?
That's the most polite wraparound to like, hey, old guy in the show. What's it like working with those kids? That's really sweet. That was very kind of you. It's thrilling to work with these actors, and certainly with their energy and their vast experience for some of their young years. It's awesome. I feel really privileged to be carving out a little bit of that real estate for being a veteran, I guess is the expression.
I mean, I'd like to point out, did I use the word veteran? I know I did not use the
You
word.
didn't. I did.
Yes.
I said it. You did. No,
I like that you went all quiet as well.
I do have to say this. So when I look in the camera, you see how he just kind of lays back in the chair, just
Like,
Mr.
He's chill.
Cool
He's
over
like
here.
Stan. Like, are we sitting with Stan or is it Billy Zane?
I know,
You never
right?
know.
I feel like there's like a hidden guitar
I
under
feel
the
like
desk.
next to
Right? Like he whips it up, by the way. I also play.
right? Little magic trick you did.
You just talk about how that was not plugged in. Like, why was it acoustic? People, who is in the sound department?
What I find
Where's the
funny-
cable? Sorry, am I blowing that? Is that my internal spoiler? I was like, really? Electric?
Oh my goodness. That's worse than if you told us right now who killed Molly Ryan.
I
You
know,
can't
I know.
You're welcome.
I'm deflecting. I'm
like that.
deflecting. I'm throwing you a bone, distracting you from the real.
Well, what I think,
The
you
real
know,
mystery.
you know, you're the character we've found so much, as an actor, so much about in little trivia almost. The creators pointed out that you do actually play the guitar, so you were actually playing real chords in that scene, if I'm not mistaken. Episode 8?
Let's call it leads. I wouldn't call
Leads?
it chords.
Okay.
I was playing a little bit of a 12-bar blues, which is kind of easy in the old E.
Okay.
You know.
And that, I was going to say
Better
real
than I
quick.
could do.
Yeah.
I was gonna say real quick,
Touche.
and is this true? Zachary Fall told us some of the paintings in Stan's flat are actually yours.
That's correct.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been painting since about '97. I started during Titanic, I guess. We had a lot of downtime in Mexico, but I started showing in 2010.
And I heard you put a show on for the troops in Budapest. Is that still correct?
Yeah, when we did the pilot in Budapest, right after we used some art in the pilot, and right after the show, when we wrapped, I did an exhibition there. But it coincided with not the troops, it was the refugees who were in the train station there. They all came up for the Syrian refugees came in, and we decided to dedicate all proceeds to help them out. So that was a huge success. We sold out, raised a lot of money, and helped those folks. It was neat.
I was gonna say, you know, I was saying this last week. You know, when you see obviously can act, he can paint. If you, by the way, go Billy Zane on Instagram, you'll see just how talented the man is at that.
Yeah.
And I was a little jealous. I was a little mad at you because I feel like you didn't leave any talent in the universe for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
nonsense. Come on. There's
What
plenty of
can't
room.
you do?
Thank you.
And you can also go to billyzane.com to see the artist. Sorry, what? No,
Why
you.
who said
It's all
that?
about
That's
you.
crazy.
Like, he can do everything. What?
Well, you know, like Stan had to do a bit of everything. He had to pull some tricks out of his hat this episode.
Yes.
So a big one, Bruno. He's already had a big part of his career thrown. I don't want to say shambles, but I mean it's the tough thing to recover from. He planted the evidence. Donovan Tremblay is out. I thought that. I mean, I feel like that would raise more hysteria, but I think it was maybe glazed over for focusing on the Molly Ryan murder. But you know, we see Bruno in his apartment. He's just kicking it, much to Renee's, you know, enjoyment.
He looks studly on the bed, isn't he? Just in his
He
little,
always looks
his
so
little
good.
Brando tee.
Like, do you want me to wipe your
Handsome
tears?
fella.
It's fine. I'll be
Christian,
there.
Christian.
stop.
What a stud. Total stud.
She was thinking, it's like, you don't need pike. I could bring, you know, curry and whatever chicken, whatever
Yeah,
he was
there
eating.
you go.
Cook for you.
Yeah, but
Both of us.
we have that.
Yeah.
We have that little face off with Phil. Oh, he's got to show.
I'm peeling this guy. You guys, you got to turn on the AC in here. We're in the valley. For
Agreed.
Christ's sake.
Man.
Now I got to
As
step
hot as it
up
is
and
outside.
match too.
Bring it.
Agreed.
Strip it. Oh, jeez. Here we go.
You know, he just wanted to show, you know, all the six packs going on.
Yeah,
He's
all the
still-
talk about Christian, I was feeling jealous. No.
Christian, but
It makes
hey.
me wonder, did you used to do this back to Leonardo DiCaprio back in the day?
Do what?
Just to show him up a little bit?
Impossible.
Never.
Handsome devil.
Yeah.
That might be it.
So we had,
Schwitzing.
well, he shows off for the camera, so Renee, I want you to weigh in. Philip, he came in, he found Bruno.
Yes.
You know, first off, guys, so obviously hunting him down, Bruno, I found it a little weird. It's like, why wouldn't you ask Pike, like, hey, at least stay with your cop friend, someone who owns weapons? But okay, he chose the motel. He gets found by, I want to call him Pike, just two names. But so Philip says, hey, you have to, cease and desist or it'll get worse. We see the fallout. He does not throw out Prince Theo when he is brought to court after being so passionate, which obviously Stan, Natalie, everyone is kind of shocked how he did it. I said it last week. I think that, what could end up happening is some kind of Philip-Bruno confrontation if Philip is the one maybe threatening Natalie in order to keep Bruno quiet. But they circumvented it, so he is aware that Natalie is threatened, but things are still operating, make it look like business as usual. So for you guys, with Philip, did it change your perception? How did you guys feel about his role right now in the case?
Oh, guys, I thought Philip was, last episode, he's so the killer. And, everything he does, I'm like, well, yeah, because he killed Molly Ryan. That makes sense. I do that, too. If I killed Molly Ryan, he's, making the right moves, cover it up.
Okay.
Threaten Bruno.
I'm kind of starting to believe that, but, I wanted to be Kaylee, as I was saying earlier, because, I don't know.
Jealous of Kaylee?
When did I start thinking that? I think she's a really interesting
she's
character.
Gorgeous.
She is.
And I want
She is beautiful.
I got a little Kevin Ryan crush going.
Oh, yeah. I have a crush on everyone on the show.
Who doesn't?
I do have to say this,
Well, yeah, but
great casting with Amber Jean Rowan. Just always steals the scene. She just gets my attention every week. I don't know why.
Wonderful actress.
Yeah.
I think she does a good job playing the role of Kaylee, and I think the scene she would have would be really interesting if Kaylee did in fact kill Molly.
It's true.
And she would bring a lot more to the
my
show.
thing, when I think we're trying to narrow it down, because we ruled out so many, Roz and Finch, two big players, we ruled them out when the video came out that said Finch couldn't have done it, which meant Roz couldn't have done it. I don't think Luke, I feel like by now we can believe him. He wasn't lying. He was actually asleep to be woken up by the street sweeper. We believe Grace and the hypnotherapy. Honestly, my big remaining three players are Kaylee, Philip, and Charlotte. Just because...
Charlotte, I don't think Charlotte did it.
I think
love
Charlotte's
her.
a little obvious.
Yeah, not even that. I love her as a character, but just kind of the way we've seen her figure this out. Maybe she's a complete sociopath, but I just think she's smart. And as soon as she found this whole thing out about Molly, she immediately confronted her possible murderer, a fiance. Right. So I don't think she did it. Honestly, for me, it does come down to Philip and Kaylee. However, simply because I believe Prince Theo knows who killed Molly, it makes no sense for me that Kaylee did it if he saw who killed her. And Philip, it makes so much sense because if Prince Theo did see, he wouldn't say anything. First of all, Philip's terrifying, but second of all, he knows all of this about Prince Theo, and he's trying to protect this guy's rep because he's like, oh, I'm just gonna sleep with all these women. Stop, Prince Theo, stop. You have a fiance. But so he's trying to protect his image, which makes me think next episode we'll probably see Philip try to kill now Kaylee because it's now another person. It makes sense why the other woman died too.
But for that reason, back to his theory about Charlotte, and don't forget the seeds planted in episode 1 about never underestimate a jealous girl.
That's what I could go back
there's
to.
a lot of the thesis statement in a pilot episode is I think maps an entire season.
Yep, that's what
So go back to the beginning, friends. Go back to the beginning.
My biggest thing is that, when I look at the female characters, their motivations are honestly way more fun as suspects when you break it down compared to the male characters. Philip, the only thing about Philip, besides the fact that he has the means, he has a motive, he's felt too on the periphery for me. And what I would worry about with Philip, let's say it was him, I'd worry that unless they reveal something really big about him and Theo, I would be afraid that there's not good enough of a payoff, and we've been building it so well for 9 episodes.
And then I agree, but then why would it be Kaylee? That she's just, what is she
well,
even?
Because she's jealous.
Imagine,
But of what?
imagine if somehow she had all. We don't know that she didn't join the coordinate until after Molly, do we? Imagine if
for
somehow
sure.
she wanted to be the number one Prince Theo's girl. She obviously knew that Molly Ryan was the one who was exclusive to him, and she wanted to take his spot.
And then
or
she's
her
over
spot.
it. She's like, well, it was definitely worth murdering a girl, but now I'm gonna date his his brother. Oh my God, can I talk? Her brother,
good.
because now she's thanks, hanging out with Patrick. So I don't. Again, it doesn't add up for me.
Different suspicion.
That's
With
another
Charlotte,
reason.
it would make more sense than Kaylee, but I don't know.
Okay. Go ahead, Beck.
I think that Kaylee hooking up with Patrick would be very interesting if she did murder Molly. Like,
Okay.
Patrick finding out would be...
He's had a tough run of it. hasn't he? That would just be like,
the
you
poor
know,
guy.
one more blow. He has to watch videos of his sister. It's
Trust
like,
issues
someone
for
kills your
someone-
sister. Oh, by the way, your sister's a prostitute. Oh, by the way, your girlfriend killed. You know what?
Yeah.
I mean,
But
that'd be a little heavy.
Living on
does
a
have-
boat.
He does have
Sleeping on a boat, and worst of all, he sleeps on a boat. Never heard of such a thing.
Some good luck though he's had, because I thought, didn't Finch and company really I thought they destroyed his boat. I mean, they don't show necessarily anything bad happening, but I thought, well, he knows he can't go back to that because they know it's his.
That boat actually sank while we were filming.
We
You know,
heard
It was a
that
total
about this.
mistake. So
and Ryan
to hear you
told
say
us
that is
the
kind of funny.
irony.
I had nothing to do with it. I was nowhere near it. That's all I can say.
Are we sure?
Yes.
Yes, but I found it. Hey, I said it out loud. It's like, wait, he already got a new boat.
Yeah.
I just found that hilarious.
Where
I
did money
really,
come from?
yeah, I really want us to talk about. So we still obviously have the Bruno, Natalie, their discovery. We obviously want to touch on Prince Theo and his breakdown. But guys, this is easily our biggest show of the season. We have the amazing Billy Zane. You guys have seen him in a lot. And fans, we get to bring this to you guys every week, every after show for free, thanks and due to our sponsors here at AfterBuzz TV. This week, especially, we have DraftKings. So DraftKings, they know that football is your passion. You know all the players and teams, their strengths and weaknesses. Now, put that knowledge to the test and play for your shot at the $1 million top prize at DraftKings.com. It's just part of the $5 million in total prizes they're doing out in this one-week contest. DraftKings.com is the destination for one-week fantasy football. One-week fantasy means no season-long commitments. We know you guys hate those. Is my team winning each week? Just pick your contest, draft your players, and follow your team live. Now, you can also renew old rivalries by challenging friends and family in a private league to prove you're the superior general manager. Or join an existing league and go head-to-head with friends, coworkers, and fantasy players from all across the country. Now guys, hurry to DraftKings.com now, choose your players, and you can seriously cash in week 1. Use the promo code BUZZ and play for free with your first deposit. That's code BUZZ to play for your free share of the $5 million in total prizes in this week 1 contest, only at DraftKings.com. Keep in mind, eligibility restrictions may apply. Thank you to DraftKings.com for just sponsoring our show and making shows like this possible and free for all the
Yes.
fans.
Yeah.
Yes. Becca, you're going to be on my fantasy team this coming season, right?
Sure.
In the same league?
I do-
Renee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
could use
we're
$5
in.
million.
Right?
What
That's what I
position?
was thinking.
You know
What do you play?
I feel like, here's the thing. I trust...
Yeah, you didn't.
Wide receiver.
I'll be GM, but I feel like they're going to say, well, we need the hot guy on our team. You know, definitely. Then I'm like, but he's not worth any points. And they're like, I don't care.
That's like
But
how I
then you
feel
find-
when Grace picked Luke.
But he's not working.
That is hilarious. That's funny. Guys, I mean, there's no easy way to segue past it, and I love how I'm sitting right next to Billy Zane and he's too cool to giggle.
I'm sorry I didn't get it.
You know, I guess you
But
know,
I'll take
just,
cool as opposed to clueless.
Cool's definitely better than Clueless, for sure.
So let's get right into it. Bruno tells Natalie what's the situation going on with Theo. They go back to, I want to make sure I got her name right, Jessica Marshall. I was about to call her Jessica King for some reason. Jessica Marshall, they already revealed, hey, she had some kind of connection to the coordinate as a client, which, okay, I guess anyone could join, not just men. But, so she knew Molly Ryan, And obviously they do their research. It's connected to the painting. This is where they, how we can find Jessica Marshall, find the connection to Theo. They go, they do their research. Bruno, the police thing, it does not work. Natalie just showing off, she can do a little bit of everything. And I think we really see that also where she's able to kind of, I gotta say, use a woman's touch to really get the gardener to open up.
She's compassionate and kind and good at making friends, I guess.
Smart.
I'd agree
Yeah,
with that.
Smart.
She's a good communicator. She knows what she's doing.
I know. She's cool enough to be part of Stan Guttery's team. I think that says just about everything you need to know, right?
Like, nice head work. Like, okay, way to start a
I know-
Nice
conversation.
head work.
takes
We were
an
like, we were
artist to do
tweeting,
this.
nice bush. No, I deleted that. Sorry. Thank you.
Oh, that's funny. But,
That I got.
so let's get right to it. They do their research and they find the gardener found the earring.
Yes.
Very expensive. They find out
Yeah, jeez.
belong.
That's a
Like,
big
dang.
earring.
How could you miss that earring?
I mean, I
know.
haven't seen a rock that big since that one rose through into the ocean that one time. I'm sorry, I've been
In
holding
what
on to that
movie?
one
Good,
since
right?
I saw it.
I see the notes.
Wait, what movie was that?
You know what? It was the one. It was the one with the plane, right?
That.
So
Snakes on a boat.
yeah. All right. So here's the thing, though. Bruno, they find the body. It's definitely Jessica Marshall. It has the other earring on, for crying out loud. By the way, graphic scene, but
Oh.
we get the good on Freeform. We get the ugly too. But yeah, so definitely her. I feel like. So they're setting up, somehow she's going to be the piece of physical evidence. I don't know how. I'm assuming to really get Prince Theo. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. This whole thing. Now, ever since you said the don't underestimate jealous girls would set up the whole show, and we've been talking about that, and that's why
Yeah.
we've been thinking it was a girl. But then, for me, that only goes down to Charlotte then, because I don't see enough of a motive for Kaylee, or obviously not Grace, and it's on the prince's grounds. Like, I don't see it being anyone else aside from Philip or Charlotte. But Charlotte, this whole time, I'm so lost. I have to rewatch the season. Man, that's just, I can't stop thinking about that now, because I'm like, we have Billy Zane here being like, I don't think it's a guy, and I'm like, well, Charlotte?
Or
he's very
your theory
persuasive,
is
isn't he?
Or
right, and
he's trying to
trying
throw
to-
me off
yeah.
my game. But I don't
Yeah.
know, because he makes a good point, and we've been talking about this, but like, I don't know, Charlotte at the dinner table, because like with all your guests, would you really be like,
see,
the killer could be at this table?
here's yeah.
Drinking, little drunk, little drunk,
Yes.
got a little loose.
Yeah, but
And also, she's not, as conditioned as Theo to, you have to keep up the appearance 24/7 since
Yeah.
birth. She's new to that situation, as we've come to learn.
no, but if she did it, I mean, I think when anyone murders anyone, I don't think you'd talk about it and be like, the killer could be at this table. I think it's and then pull him aside and confront him if you did it.
Unless you want to distract by going right to the heart.
Exactly.
Oh, stop! You're just trying to throw me off now.
No, I'm just saying, in general, as a general theory, one would think that, but you got to go twice as far. You have to create doubt.
No,
Or
see,
deflect.
Well,
Deflect.
you might be doing that right now.
Interesting.
Oh,
Bum, bum,
Hey, I feel like we're seeing round 2, Stan versus Gwen, except Renee is in the game now.
I can't stop. I can't let that go. I'm trying to think.
I do gotta.
Oh my God.
No, see, here's my only thing with Philip is, and I brought this up before. It's the same thing that he said to Bruno about if Theo did kill Molly Ryan. Do you really think you'd find the body?
Yeah.
Philip, with as many resources as he has, would he really leave that loose end to have to do that much cleaning up after? Now, look, I mean. Now they found Jessica Marshall too. They haven't found Finch, for crying out loud, and that wasn't, a finesse kill at all. So why would Philip? I feel like Philip is too good at his job to leave that kind of a loose end open, and that's my only thing keeping me from saying Philip over Kaylee right now.
Unless his plan didn't go the way he wanted it to and something interfered, which could have to do with don't underestimate jealous girls. Maybe something happened in between that we don't know about. However, I do think the killing, I'm so
Do
stuck
you
on
think
Philip. I
Rina
think it's
Patel
Philip.
helped him?
It's possible. That could be the thing that throws us off. I'm just saying, guys, Philip would make so much sense.
Becca?
I think it's Kaylee. I did have a crazy theory that I thought of after
okay.
Neville died, but I don't think it's the right
us.
theory.
I was gonna say, well, real quick, why not Philip?
I just don't.
Is it
I
just
don't- I
Kaylee's
don't-
too big of a...
Yeah, no, Kaylee would make it more interesting.
What if it wasn't Kaylee? Who would be your second guess?
Charlotte, probably.
Third guess.
Phil.
Exactly.
Let it
Third
go.
guess.
Hey, Roger, if you're right next week, it's gonna be like, you know what? Bow down. You know,
I'm gonna call some people, see if we can make it happen.
Okay.
I mean, you guys are not done shooting that show, right? It could all change before next week.
Sure.
We
Go
do
do some
season
reshoots.
2.
Based
Yeah.
on your notes, I think you ought to hit the
we were
writers' room.
watching. We're like, let's go with one
Really
of their predictions.
Going
Yeah.
deep into this, I'm very impressed.
Let's go back to London and film the
I
last
guess, you know,
episode again.
the final person we do have to talk about, obviously, Prince Theo. It all is dirty. They get Roz on the stand, it's done by some lawyer on that show. I don't know who. But because Bruno doesn't work, he makes the deal with Roz. He says, hey, you could be a DJ in Vegas enough, you know, you don't have to do local DJing in London. You don't have to try to run an illegal underground sex club. You can be, you know,
Las
opening for
Vegas.
Tiesto. Right? I was going to say, that's the funniest line. Do you, like, giggle when you get lines like that in the
Sure.
script?
I do.
It's like, yeah, cool.
That's like, really? I get to say that?
I enjoyed saying Roz Vegas. Or DJ Rozzy Roz.
It's just so odd to come from him, I guess, you know, Stan being the guy he is. But, so, she gets on stand, it causes drama. You're now in contempt. Does that mean you can't keep... Obviously, would that mean you're off the case now? Because obviously there's still a case going on, even though they have another suspect.
I don't know.
So we're going to find out about that. Imagine if now, you know, Babe Ruth is down, you need, you know, Mariano Rivera to pinch hit Natalie to save her sister.
Maybe they won't
I
even
think you
finish
lost me
the
on
trial
that.
because of this newfound evidence.
Oh, don't do that to me.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting.
I mean, they
Okay.
found a dead body
But safe to say...
after the whole Prince Theo thing.
Safe to say, Prince Theo, okay, he's fallen apart at the seams. Okay, I feel like we're setting up for something big with
well,
Theo.
yeah.
Well,
I don't-
yeah.
But here's the thing. No,
You'd
not
hope
just
so.
the killer. What I mean with Theo specifically, could he possibly take some kind of out-of-character action? Let's say kill Bruno himself in an attempt to, like, try to shut it all down, like... He's like a Hail Mary to just finally, like, hey, enough of this
A
Prince
new
Theo.
body right now would distract, don't you think, from the suspects people are trying to deflect to?
It is true.
I don't like the
but-
driver.
Yes, so that's another thing. Yes, Grace might make her escape, but then that's one I feel like you gotta have faith in this guy.
I think the driver is setting something up for season 2. I don't think he's going to be a huge part in the finale. I could be wrong, but I do think his character is meant to leave a cliffhanger and then set up
Yeah.
for season 2. As for the murder itself, I think we're just narrowing it down. I don't know.
I think the driver could have helped out whoever murdered Molly, because
What?
Okay.
I think he's
I don't know.
possible.
I think he's too
Anything's
new a
possible.
player just yet.
like
That might be my
maybe
thing.
maybe he did the burying and stuff and all the hard work, and maybe
Yeah.
Earl was the killer.
Well, we got a little bit of time. I want us to get into predictions and, of course, any final thoughts with Mr. Billy Zane here. So can we please get our AfterBuzz TV predictions?
Yeah.
Yes, it feels like we're being
your
abducted.
AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, so guys, last night to finally predict it, who killed Molly Ryan? I mean, we've discussed it all night, but Renee, one more time, and the biggest point, why? Just one point.
Okay, well, it's down to 2. I either think it's Philip or Charlotte, even though with this season and Charlotte, I don't think so. But Charlotte would make the most sense because if she was killing all of the people he was sleeping with, I mean, it's one way to get your fiance to stop cheating on you.
True.
And then Philip, because of just his connection to Prince Theo and him wanting to watch out for his image and fix everything he needs to fix, and probably that would involve killing, an escort that Prince Theo has grown quite fond of over the last several months. And gotten pregnant. Like, that's a huge thing he'd have to cover up.
And Philip knows that Theo did call Kaylee at the end, so that
Yeah,
is
shady
the last,
guy.
That's winding it down.
Gonna
Okay,
kill me.
Becca, one last prediction, and big point why.
Kaylee, never underestimate jealous girls.
Okay, that's all we need. Billy Zane, who do you... Nah. I do gotta say,
I think you guys are killing it, to be honest.
thank you.
Just saying.
Really?
I'm very impressed with the amount of the astute study and the amount of thought you've put into it. I recommend you find your way to the writers' room. This one or another, or season 2. I mean, Nichole, Kathryn, keep this in mind.
You can call me. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter.
Very, I'm impressed.
I was gonna say it
Thoroughly.
would be kind of fun if you guys ever do a press junket on set. I wouldn't mind traveling to London or the next location to interview about an upcoming season. Just saying. All right, so I do gotta say, Renee, I could just eat this one if it does end up being Philip, because you got a lot of points. But I gotta go with Kaylee just because I think the last red herring was, that Gray Saw guy. And I think we just gotta go back just because the female characters have been so interesting all season. I think it's gonna be Kaylee. That, for all the stuff we've already talked about, she was trying to get at, get to a higher spot, whether it was in the coordinate or just whatever her motivation, that we would learn if it's her. So I think it's going to be Kaylee. Now, I was going to say before, because we have a little bit of time, but I wanted to ask you one question. So your co-stars have done so much. They're asked all the time, what's it like working with Billy Zane? We found out, first of all, about the unending amount of Titanic humor you're exposed to every day. And, I really like the story, apparently, that you guys went out to eat in Budapest, and even the piano player started playing things like My Heart Will Go On. And
What a good one.
I wanted to know, man, I can't even imagine what's it like just being tied to a film like that, and just, everywhere you go, you have that acknowledgement of the work you did.
It's the gift that keeps giving. It's a great pleasure. It's, God, you could be remembered for a bad movie, which I'm sure I am for, a number. But it's quite thrilling and endearing, and it's amazing to see how much it touches people to this day.
Yeah. Becca, you had one fun?
I did have a question that Bill asked. If Stan has a love interest, let's say season 2 happens, let's say it's renewed. Hopefully it does. Cross my fingers. Who would it be?
Of the existing characters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who would I like it to be, or who would Stan like it to be, or who? Narrow that question down.
Both, maybe?
Interesting.
Who would?
Not including someone we haven't met yet?
It can be
Or
any
others?
actress.
I think he's a bit of a player.
I
don't think he mixes work and business. Although you never know. And I think as a rule he tries not to by nature. But you see a lot of surprises about things. Like, what's the motorcycle doing in the living room? The guy plays guitar. He's like, he knows DJs. He's
Good
like,
at everything.
I'm expecting to see him pop up at like some, hip clubs. Not the Courtenay, but like something groovy. And he's full of surprises. That onion just keeps peeling. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's got a very, equally eclectic and kind of funky and quite groovy love life. I don't know if that net falls beyond our...
I just gotta say, I feel like he would want to date someone like Gwen or Vina,
That's
just
what I was
because they
gonna
know, he knows that they kind of have this kind of aversion to him, but he's got that Stan Guttery swagger and confidence. I feel like that, if possible.
I was gonna say if Gwen and Stan can get past the whole arguing thing, then they would actually make a really good couple.
I don't know
Interesting.
who would win the argument.
Oh.
Yeah,
I think it's
okay.
mutual surrender.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely sexual tension there.
It's great. Well, guys, season finale, season 1 ends next week. I can't wait. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on AfterBuzz TV. And Renee, we'll start with you. Where can everyone find you?
Hey guys, I'm Renee Ariel, and you can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Renee Ariel.
Hi, I'm Becca Brown. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca B Talks TV. And is it too early to start a hashtag Renew Guilt?
Oh, no, not at all.
Hashtag renew
Do
guilt.
it.
Mr. Stan Guttery, where can the fans find you on Twitter?
They can find me at Billy Zane on Twitter, at Billy Zane at Instagram, Real Billy Zane at Snapchat, and BillyZane.com in the calm of it all.
Amazing. And guys, you can find me on Twitter at Double G on TV. See you next week for the season 1 finale.
Bye.
Thanks, Guild fans.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.